Alright, Shalom. Before I begin, let me start out by giving all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach, and of course, where I learned this truth. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect. Alright, I'm going to get into this quick morning lesson, Lord wouldn't be edifying. I read this, I seen this article the other day, probably yesterday sometime. Alright, and I wanted to do a quick video on it right fast, and, do what it is that we do. Alright, it says Taylor Swift faces backlash over a lyric about wanting to live in the 1830s on a new song. Alright, and everybody, is pretty familiar who this individual is, the Taylor Swift, alright, the Edomitis, alright, who's pretty much the number one, if you want to call it that, singer, entertainer in the world, alright, she's the Esau's princess, alright. Anyway, she got a song out. I ain't heard this shit, but it says she's facing backlash about wanting to live in the 1830s, alright? So I'm going to read a little bit of it. It says, my friends used to play a game where we would pick a decade we wish we could live in instead of this. And she said she'd choose 1830s, but without all the races and getting married off to the highest bid. She sings in the song, alright? So just think about that in 1830. Where were you Israelites at? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Alright, you was in captivity still, alright? That was even before the so-called Civil War. Alright, you was a slave at that time, alright? And you couldn't be racist, alright? How the fuck could you be racist at that time, alright? You was a slave and they was the slave masters and they was the ruling class. Alright, so she wants to go back to that time, and little does she know. Alright, maybe she does know, but if she doesn't, alright, we're gonna enlighten her and let her know she was around during those times, alright. When was she around in specifically that particular decade? You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure, but she was around in that time, alright, because all of the spirits come back in the third and fourth generation. Alright, so she was definitely on the scene during the time, of Jacob's plight. Alright, and not only was she was the Negroes in captivity, the Native Americans in the Northern Kingdom as a whole was as well. I think you had the Indian Removal Act at this time also. Let me see. Listeners immediately pointed out the fact that slavery wasn't abolished until 1865. That means that the decade had slaves and heavy racism, not to mention the fact that women did not have some basic human rights, nor did LGBTQ plus people. Alright, anyway. Esau, you are LGBT plus Q person, alright? That was who was ruling. Alright, MO is out on you devils, alright? Word on the town is out on you devils, alright? We know what you was doing back then, alright, and she also said she didn't want to be, the only thing she didn't want about that time also was that she would be getting sold off, alright, to the highest bidder. Because that's what women are. Women are property, alright? And at that time, when you had daughters and shit, the father chose who his daughter was going to marry, alright? That's actually a biblical thing in what you're supposed to do. Esau is the devil. Alright. Yeah, one second. One second, y'all. Give me. Had a slight interruption. Alright, but yeah, back at this time, this is when you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Spanish, and Native Americans, again, were in captivity, all right? And Taylor, she was around at that time, all right? And her people were ruling. And the only thing she had a quarrel with was really, she said racism and being sold off to the highest bidder, all right? Meaning she wasn't going to be she wasn't going to be able to be what she is today, all right? And this also shows you how far Esau's kingdom has fallen because, his woman is able to, be out there the way she's out there, right? He's for it. It says, listeners, let me see, I read that part. Not to mention the fact, we read that part. It says, the infamous Trail of Tears began in 1831, in which thousands of Native Americans were murdered and displaced from their land, all right? Esau, you did a lot of shit at that time, all right? And I find it, just ironic that she wants to go back to that time, all right? You know what I'm saying? All these things just beg the question, why would someone want to live in this decade and why was she featured in the song? Fans pointed out that she is trying to make a statement about Nostalgia. But what exactly is nostalgic about the decade? Listeners was left divided over the lyrics, and some questioned why she chose this decade rather than another one without slavery and lack of rights for marginalized people. They say some fans theorize that Swift chose the decade because Emily Dickinson was born in 1830. All right, anyway, she chose that style because her spirit is her spirit bear witness with the wicked. All right, that's ultimately what it is. Let me get a couple scriptures. All right, let me go to Psalms chapter 58 right quick. All right, this is Psalm chapter 58 and let's start at verse 1. It say, to the chief musician, let me say, do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do ye judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness. Ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. All right, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear. All right, and that's Esau. All right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, in heart you work wickedness. You weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. All right, she wants to go back in that time into in which her nation was ruling even more iron fisted than they are today. All right, Esau's still in rulership now. Don't get it twisted. All right, because the scripture tell you Esau is the end of the world and Jacob being given their followers. And we're clearly not in Jacob's kingdom yet, so we're still in Esau's kingdom. We're at the end of his wicked Roman kingdom. All right, but nevertheless, all right, she wants to go back to that time. All right, and that was a time in which Esau could do whatever he wanted to do with you niggas and nothing happened. He could still do it on certain levels, but not the way it was back then. All right, because we're at the end of his kingdom. All right. Esau is divided now, all right. It used to be a time in which, these Edomites had one common thing that draw them together, and that was their superiority over you niggas, Hispanics, and Native Americans, all right. They come together on that no matter what the terms was, all right. No matter what it was, they would always find a way to be in agreement on keeping you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans on the fucking bottom. All right, they could agree on that, but now in this time, in this particular generation of Esau, all right, you see how weak he is, all right? You know what I'm saying? He wants to be buddy and shit. The scriptures actually speak about his hands shall seek to restore their goods. His children shall seek to please the poor. All right, that's the era we in right now. All right, Esau is weakened. All right, most of them. All right, but you still got that certain caliber of E that'll get down on you niggas, Hispanics and Native Americans without a thought. But again, Esau is a house divided, and that's how the Lord said he was gonna be before he came back to destroy you. All right, verse 5: which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O power, in their mouth break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, you know what I'm saying? Break they hold of us, all right? And the Lord has done that as far as the elect are concerned. We feel that the elect are pretty much sealed or just about sealed. All right, it's only 2/3 of our people who ain't woke up and understand what time it is and who these people are. All right, you still got niggas today who don't understand and know who Esau is. All right, and that's a goddamn shame. You can tell these niggas Esau and be like, who is that? Be like, nigga, it's 2024 and you still don't know who the fuck Esau is. You still don't know who the Edomites are. Alright. You know what I'm saying? You yellow list niggas. Alright. You unworthies. Alright, Esau ain't even worried about you like that. Alright. He is because you're an Israelite, but he ain't because you're a dumbass. Alright. You don't know shit. Alright. But yeah. Old Taylor wants to bring it back to them good old days, all right? Where she could get digged down by a Mandingo warrior on the low, all right, and get a nigga winch. you know what I'm saying, beaten, slapped around and shit, you know what I mean? She want to go back to them times, all right? The good old days of Esau. This is Psalms 49:11. Their end without is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, all right? You know what I'm saying? And what does Esau call America? America, all right? And where did he get it from? America Vespucci, all right? Another Edomite, all right? You know, they name all that shit after themselves or after some sort of wicked entity, mythology, or you know, some shit they didn't picked up along their conquering conquest, all right? You know, because Esau is a culture vulture, all right? He has Egyptian cultures. He has all types of shit, you know, that he worships. All right. You know what I'm saying? And Taylor wants to take it back to the 1830s on us. All right. But guess what, Taylor? You're gonna be a slave in the kingdom that we're coming into. You're not gonna be a singer. All right. You're not gonna be a praised Edomite in our kingdom. All right. You're gonna be the dog that the Lord made you to be. All right, and that's if you're even an Edomite. I believe she's an Edomite. You know, that's just me. I've never got Jake woman vibes from her. All right, I've got straight Edomite vibes from her. You know, her, Ivanka Trump. All right, a couple more of them devils. Jennifer Aniston. All right, just to name a few. All right, I get straight Edomite vibes from them devils. All right, you know, straight devil women. All right, you know what I'm saying. And again, you know, it's good that they feel that way, all right? You know, it's good that they want to, you know, continue to keep their place in the earth, all right? Because only if they knew, all right, it's all downhill from here, all right? You know, once you fall from your seat on this side, you ain't never going to get back in it, all right? In fact, you're going into them pits after you serve a 1,000-year sentence in captivity. All right, that's where you're going. All right. This is Amos chapter 1. Let me see. I'll read verse 11. It say, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. All right, I just showed you, I explained some of the shit that was going down in the 1830s, all right? The Indian Removal Act, all right, you know what I'm saying? Jake was in plantation slavery. Let me see if I got some up on this shit. All right, life in the 1830s was slavery act. Let me see. By 1830, slavery was primarily located in the South, where it existed in many different forms. Israelites, because we ain't no fucking Africans, and we damn sure ain't no fucking Americans, all right? We're Israelites. All right, it says we're enslaved on small farms, large plantations, in cities and towns, inside homes, out in the fields, and in industry and transportation. All right, so this is that time. All right, let me see. You got the antebellum time. You know what I'm saying? This is what was going on. This is when Taylor Swift want to go back to living. All right, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. All right, I'm going to read some of this right here. It say enslaved Israelites, because again, we ain't Africans and we fucking damn sure ain't Americans. Enslaved Israelites could never forget their status as property. So this is what we was in the 1830s, no matter how well their owners treated them. But it would be too simplistic to say that all masters had slaves. Slakia. But it would be too simplistic to say that all masters and slaves hated each other. Human beings who lived and worked together are bound to form relationships of some kind, and some masters and slaves generally cared for each other. Nigga, it wasn't. Listen, Esau try to dress this shit up, all right, so fucking nice and shit. Nigga, how the fuck can you buck break one slave, but then show love to another and think that, you know what I'm saying, what's the word? Your hatred for us as a nation ain't what it is, all right? You people are the devil. You're a fork-tongued devil, all right? Esau, had house slaves and he had outside slaves. All right, think about the movie Django. All right, Leonardo DiCaprio, slave owner. All right, he fed one of his slaves to the dogs that he bought because he didn't get his value out of him. All right, he said, I paid $500. I want 5 fights. All right, so because that slave didn't fulfill his shit, he fed him to the dogs. All right, but the other slave, you know what I'm saying, Samuel L. Jackson, the head house nigga. All right, he could sit down and have a conversation and drink with him and take advice from him. All right, probably had a certain type of love for him. All right, but nevertheless, you Edomites, you still hate Jacob. All right, you know what I'm saying. No matter what you do, you love a sellout Jake because you can use him. All right, you can use him to do your bidding and shit and keep an eye on the other niggas. All right, that's the only reason they got love for you sellout ass Jakes. All right, if you couldn't appease his taste, then he wouldn't have no use for you. All right, you know what I'm saying. That's why people say you never trust thine enemies. Never trust thy enemy. That's talking about Esau. Like his iron rusted swords, his wickedness. Alright, so let me read a little bit more of this. And y'all forgive me, I'm talking a lot of shit, forgive me. It say, let me see. It say, but the carrying was tempered and limited by the power imbalance under which it grew. Within the narrow confines of slavery, human relationships ran the gamut for compassion, to contemptuous, but the masters and the slaves never approached equality. All right, they fucking right, and still to this day, all right, that's in play. All right, you niggas ain't equal to Esau. Esau never let you niggas get up there as high as he is. All right, you know what I'm saying. Think about this: the only so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that have a high wealth value in this earth are fucking athletes and entertainers, bro. They ain't worth a shit. You know what I'm saying? Dick Cheney told you that the worst people on this earth, athletes, and entertainers. Ain't none of them worth a shit. All right, he said it. All right, because they could be bought and they could be, you know what I'm saying, sold. And, you know. But anyway, these damn devils want to keep their seat at the table. They don't never want to relinquish it. They think they're not gonna relinquish it, but they're sadly mistaken. All right, you know, Esau, you're gonna lose your spot, buddy. All right, and Taylor, you're gonna be a slave in the kingdom to come. All right, let me show you that. Let's see. We can go to Isaiah 14. We can go to many scriptures. All right. Show you Esau gonna be a slave in the kingdom to come. Isaiah 14, I'm gonna read a couple of these and we'll close it. Isaiah 14, starting in verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh Shah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. These are all Israelites, alright. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, Yahweh Shai, for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, we just read that. You know what I'm saying? We were slaves in 1830. All right. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh Shai shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. All right, you know what I'm saying? Them fakes over in that land right now, they don't fit this prophecy. All right, they didn't get put in that land by the Lord. They went over there on their own, and they've been fighting ever since. All right, the scripture tell you when Jake go in that land, Jake gonna possess the other nations. All right, and nations ain't gonna learn war no more. All right, but what's happening? All right, they fighting them sand nigga Palestinians. All right, it's another one in Jeremiah. Say we're gonna have you devils in slavery. All right, Jeremiah 30 and verse 16. It say, therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So this is what's coming to you, Taylor. All right, you want to relive the 1830s? No, you're gonna relive when Solomon was ruling. All right, but it's gonna be a forever lasting kingdom. All right. You know what I'm saying? When all you devils was in captivity, but it's gonna be a righteous time, all right? Ain't none of us gonna go off. You know what I'm saying? Solomon's gonna be back. You know what I'm saying? As Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? His kingdom gonna be established, and all you nations gonna be slaves again. All right. You know, David gonna be on the scene. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a beautiful time. All right. That's what you got to look forward to, Taylor. All right, and the rest of you Edomites out there around the world. All right, this is the time you got to look forward to. All right. Let's see. Revelation 13 and verse 9. All right. It say, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Who led Jacob into captivity? All right. Who was Jacob into captivity to? All you nations. But in this world, in this reign, in this age, Esau. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. All right. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, not wearing who is it. So this Esau world. All right. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. All right, this is what we patiently waiting on. All right, last scripture, Psalms 137 and verse 7. Starting at verse 7. All right, this is what the saints of the Lord, the elect, are patiently waiting on. Remember, O Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the children of Edom, the Edomites, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even into the foundation thereof. Alright. O daughter of Babylon. And America is that. So we're talking about Esau rules, mystery Babylon. Alright. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Alright, so that's what you got to look forward to, Taylor, and the rest of your Edomite nation. This is what's coming your way. All right, children getting dashed to pieces against the stones, slavery, captivity. All right, you name it. All right, you know what I'm saying. You gonna live it. All right, and we gonna be the head of it. All right, so that's what you got to look forward to, devil. All honor, glory, and praise go to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, teaching the quest right land is truth. Peace and salutations to the Lord's elect, one minister, Raleigh, and wide Bible ball. Shalom.